Episode 9 is set to end the Skywalker saga and the sequel trilogy itself by writer and director J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrio. This is Mike Zero. If you guys are new to the channel, do make sure to subscribe to see future Star Wars content. Now, one angle of Episode 9 that a lot of people are really looking forward to seeing is, of course, exactly how J.J. Abrams is going to use the characters of Kylo Ren and Luke Skywalker in this story that will conclude the Skywalker saga. Now, these past couple of weeks or so, we've been learning a whole lot more about this film when it comes to some of the set leaks, the set designs, the concept art and storyboard descriptions, etc. One of which has all to do with one of the moments in the film that will change how fans view one of the scenes in The Last Jedi. Now, specifically, a description of one of the sequences in the film that serves as an extension of the flashback in The Last Jedi. It's described that there is a rear shot of Luke Skywalker in a black robe, witnessing the slaughter of his new generation of Jedi by the hands of Kylo Ren. It's described to be a visual representation of what Luke saw when digging into the mind of Ben Solo in his sleep. However, it's described that this scenario is not Luke seeing the future, but Luke gaining the ability to tap into Kylo Ren's dream and witness what his nephew was plotting to do. The last goes over Luke, and of course witnessing Ben taking away 6 Jedi Knights, walking away into the distance, giving fans a visual of what Luke discussed in Episode 8 about him banishing some of his students. So, what's really interesting about all of this is that I think that when we look at J.J. Abrams, he's really trying to do something that's going to connect to The Last Jedi and change our perspective of everything. Now, like I said, the last piece I think surprises me the most is how it goes over a visual representation of Luke Skywalker when he was talking to Rey about how basically Kylo Ren / Ben vanished with a handful of his students. So, with that being said, this actually does change the scene in The Last Jedi. Now, everybody assumed, at least, even myself here, assumed that in Episode 8, during that flashback, that Luke Skywalker was getting a glimpse into the future of what was going to happen from Kylo Ren and what he was going to do to his new generation of Jedi. Now, this actually ends up Luke tapping into one of the dreams of Ben Solo and what Ben Solo was plotting to do while he was sleeping. It was like a dream of his own, if you will, that Luke Skywalker so happened to actually get a glimpse of. And you get this visual representation, apparently, of where Luke Skywalker is literally standing there and witnessing all of this happening on the big screen, right? For the audience to see. We get to see Luke Skywalker watching this happen through a different perspective while he's actually digging into Kylo Ren's dream. So, we also know that there's going to be a legitimate scene where we do get to actually see the real event take place of Ben Solo slaughtering his new generation of Jedi, where it's not going to be a real dream per se. Like I say, this sounds something exactly like what J.J. Abrams would do, and I'm not surprised. If you guys have seen any of the projects that he has worked on, like Fringe or Lost or something like that, this sounds something just like what he would actually do in those TV shows, where you do get to see Luke Skywalker witnessing everything that is actually happening between Kylo and the new generation of Jedi. However, it appears as if Luke Skywalker is standing there, on the field in front of his training temple. However, he's only witnessing the dream of Kylo Ren. Now, this definitely does change everything of the Last Jedi flashback scene for 2 reasons. We get to see the actual new generation of Jedi being slaughtered through Luke's perspective, and what he's seeing, of the dreams that are going through Ben Solo's mind while he's asleep. And the other thing is, of course, is that it does indeed provide a glimpse of Kylo Ren walking away with the remaining Jedi Knights of Luke Skywalker into the distance. Hence, matching up with that piece of dialogue when Luke spoke to Rey in The Last Jedi, where he says he vanished with a handful of my students and slaughtered the rest. So, that's what I love about the sequel trilogy. I will say that's one thing that I do like about it so far, is that the flashbacks in episodes 7 and 8 are just little pieces to the puzzle of the full story. They are basically little glimpses, as if you were looking through a keyhole, right? And only seeing parts of the story. And now in episode 9, we're going to see the full story of that scene of Luke Skywalker, Kylo Ren slaughtering the new generation of Jedi, Luke and Kylo Ren's training, everything, whatever have you. We're going to see a whole lot more of this in episode 9. And that's one thing that I think a lot of fans are going to enjoy, because I think that not only would it make the character of Kylo Ren seem more sinister and more around the lines of an actual villain on par with, like, let's say Darth Maul or Darth Vader, but it would also give us more character development of Ben Solo slowly turning to the dark side of the Force. You know, an aspect that we never got to see in the sequel trilogy. I mean, let's face it, right? We never got to see Kylo Ren actually turn to the dark side. We only heard of him turning to the dark side. So we will actually be able to see this in detail in Episode 9, which I think is great. Anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
From night to moon, we hear them moans again.